Today we'll discuss the last act, that is, Act 3 of the play Strife. In this act, there is only one scene, and this is the concluding scene of the play. It takes us to the Underwood's drawing room. We see that Edgar and Enid, son and daughter of John Anthony, are sitting there. Both of them are discussing the present situation of the strike. Edgar is in favor of the workers and wishes that their father should not attend the directors' meeting as they are all against him. Enid is more worried about her father and she is now less sympathetic towards the men after meeting Roberts. She requests her brother Edgar to support their father as he is also one of the directors in the board. But, however, Edgar's sympathies are with the workers who are suffering in cold weather without food and fire. Then enters Anthony and he asks Enid whether she has gone to the house of Roberts. She admits that she does. Then Anthony tells her that she is trying to do what is impossible because conflicts between capital and labor is the trouble of the age of the Industrial Revolution. But Enid tells him that she is actually doing all this for his sake, as she also asks him to not to go in the meeting. Then there is a brief talk between Enid and one Mr. Frost regarding Anthony's and the members of the board of directors. And it also inquires Frost about Roberts. After some time, Madge appears on the scene and she informs Enid about Annie. Death, and she informs Enid about Annie Roberts' death and also blames her and her father for all these happenings. She insults Enid in every possible way and then she leaves. Then we see Anthony and board of the directors talking and discussing about strike. The members of the board wants to end the strike due to the heavy losses to the shareholders and the factory. A debate started among them all. Even Edgar opposes him openly by saying that they should not wage war against women and children, and he even proposes to resign from the board. Wonkin tells him that none of them is opposed to a settlement except his father. Anthony delivers a fine speech in the scene representing the point of view of the capitalists. Just like in the previous scene, Roberts delivers a very good speech in favor of the laborers. Mr. Anthony says that he has been made the target of an attack by his colleagues on the board and therefore he wants to answer their criticism before putting the amendment to vote because all the members of the board of directors they want an amendment. He says that the workers of this company have received fair wages and their complaints have always been listened to. He says that others think that times have changed, but he has not changed with the times and he never will. He says that it is sheer hypocrisy to say that masters and laborers are equal. There can only be one master in a house, according to Mr. Anthony. People say that capital and labor have the same interests, but this is absurd. Their interests are actually poles apart. Then after his speech, at the end he says that before he puts the amendment to vote, he must warn them all of them, that if the amendment is carried, they will be failing in their duty to themselves and to all capital. The demands of the workers will keep on multiplying, and they would have to yield to them every time. He tells them that if they are prepared for all this, they may vote for the amendment. They can vote in favor of it. He puts the amendment to vote. The directors all vote in favor for the amendment. He is the only one voting against it. And then he resigns as chairman, and he exclaims, I just quote, "You have disgraced me, gentlemen." So he is very disappointed with all the members of the director of boards. At this time, the representatives of the workers are brought in. They are Thomas, Green, Bulgin, and Rouse. They all stand in a row. Then Wonkin asks Thomas about the result of their meeting. Rouse says that Harness has their answer and he would speak for them. Thomas says that Roberts will not be coming because his wife has died. Harness enters with a piece of paper in his hand. Wilder tells him that they had been waiting for him and he hopes that they would arrive at some settlement now. At this stage, suddenly Roberts arrives. He is unaware of all the happenings, and thus he tells Anthony to go back to London because he thinks that the workers would not change their demands to the slightest extent. At this, everyone is astonished, they are bewildered. Harness tries to stop him, uh, but Roberts goes on with his speech and he tells Anthony that he made a mistake in thinking that the workers would surrender. And he declares, I quote, "You may break the body, but you cannot break the spirits." At this point, Harness tells Roberts that he was speaking without authority. He should not speak there because many things had happened in his absence. At this, the directors quickly sign the agreement, which is like this. I quote, "Demands conceded with the exception of those relating to engineers and furnacemen." Harness tells Roberts that these terms had been agreed to by both sides and the strike was at an end. At this, Roberts is shocked. He checks up the agreement and finds that Anthony has not signed it. So he thinks that the agreement is not valid, and he was sure that Anthony will not sign. But then Harness tells him that the board has already signed. And then the truth dawns on Roberts and he covers up his eyes. And he says, I quote, "So they have done us both down, Mr. Anthony." So in the end, Harness remarks that the result of this strike has only been waste and suffering. And these are actually the views of the novelist also. And what he says, I quote, he says, "A woman dead and the two best men both broken." This he remarked. Then Tench says in an excited tone that the terms of the agreement are exactly the same as those that they had drawn up together before the fight began. A strife only causes unnecessary suffering. It yields to no other result. Harness remarks that this is the irony of the whole situation. And with this, the play ends. So, this strife, this tension, it was just futile. It was useless. There is no outcome or result of this strife. The terms and conditions of the agreement are exactly the same as those that both the parties has drawn up together before the fight began. So students, this is the summary of the play Strife. and tomorrow we'll discuss some important aspects regarding this play. Thank you.